Anyways, it doesn't matter. We know the first map's romanticized. The second map is going to be the other map that we read. And let's go into this. Is in the bottom right-hand side. We actually have a Team Envy showdown. Two teammates here, of course. In the bottom right is someone who's been looking very good this year. Has really been I've been singing their praises, to be honest. And it's really cool to see them continuing to do well here. And hopefully that will continue. It is Bunny in the bottom right. Taking on the Blue Terran in the top left-hand side. This is Maru. Which, it's always a pleasure to cast a little bit of Maru here. Always great to have him playing in events, and obviously this is a big tournament. It's going to end up as a big tournament. Again, the great thing that I said about this qualifier, or this tournament, is that the qualifiers, there's no invites, right? Like, everybody has to qualify. So nobody gets a free pass. Nobody just gets to be the, here you go, welcome to the competition. No, everybody has to go do their part. Everybody has to play these qualifiers and show that they deserve to be in the tournament. And I love that. I really think that, you know, it's one of those things where, like, a lot of tournaments in the last year or two have been always inviting like top 4, top 8 of like ESL points and stuff. And yeah, of course, I'm expecting Cyril, Clem, and Raynor, and or whoever else. You know what I mean? We expect these guys to qualify. No doubt about it. But did it really do it? You know, does it really do them much harm to show up to a qualifier or two and to give the other guys a chance to beat them to qualify? You know, I feel like it does nothing but hype up your event if you get these guys to play the qualifiers. Personally, so yeah, I'm a big fan of the everyone must qualify scenario. It's the exact same for TSL this coming weekend. TSL qualifiers. The only invited player is Dark. There's no kind of easy way in. You gotta fight for it. You're gonna have to do it yourself. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I am not sure if I'm looking forward to waking up for the TSL qualifiers. TSL Korea starts at 5 a.m. Which is even earlier than what this starts at, so it's gonna be interesting. We'll see how we cope with that. Anyways, loads of qualifiers this week for both this event and TSL as mentioned, and like I say, no one's pre-invited, so we're gonna be seeing all the Europeans back in action this weekend as well for that. Gonna be pretty exciting, I think. Gonna be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. Now, a couple of Reapers are already sat over here and just waiting for their Hellion to join up. So Maru just going to be expanding off double gas, as is Bunny. Both these players are pretty much mirroring the other guy right now, so not too much of a shock between everybody just yet, I guess. Everything kind of just as you'd expect this to be for the moment. So Widowmine is going to move forward, is going to go burrow up at the front, and I love that. Hellion just wants to sit on top of it, just going to try and make it look kind of natural that these units are just here. And, yeah, just try and see if Bunny wants to take the bait if he comes across the map and tries to be aggressive, but he will not be. Not with the first few units, at least. Not with, like, Reaper Hellion, because he's building Marines pretty quickly and straight into that Cyclone as well. And a Medevac. So he will be aggressive. He will be dropping in the very near future. In comparison, Maru is already able to go into his first Raven, so his first Raven already on the way up. Just getting that set to go. Yo, sorry, I was meant to do my shoutouts as well. I have a couple of subs that came through. First of all, Shoff Seckle with the 13-month resub came in at the very start of the stream. And I also wanted to say thank you to Andy8 with the Prime sub during that last game of Bunny Björn. Sorry, I was meant to do that A before I went to break, then B after I came back from break, and I really haven't done it still, so I was like, you know what? Just get them done. Let's quickly get these shoutouts done before I forget again, because apparently I'm a goldfish today. I'm just forgetting everything. I don't have a memory to do what I was meant to do, you know? Widowmine. Ooh, that's an unfortunate little spike from my end as we missed the Widowmine being dragged from the Reaper onto the Marines. The Marines go down. Now, this won't affect the players or anything, guys. These little spikes are very much so a single person's client thing. That happens sometimes when you're on a far off server and so on. So don't worry, it's not affecting the players or anything. I'm absolutely sure they would have paused and told me to GTFO if it had just then. There's a few SCVs going down, a couple of Marines being picked off as well. Good damage with these Cyclones to begin with here, and Maru is losing a little bit of the initial army fighters. Now we've got this drop in the back, gonna go for a bit more damage. Ravens will drop an order turret to help to push this away, stopping that from continuing for the moment, at least, as this tank going to unsiege. Just going to be seeing our two Cyclones will continue across toward the bottom right-hand side, so away they go. Joining back up with this Marine tank force, the Raven overhead as well. A couple of SCVs just going to start to repair the Cyclone. These few additional Marines are unloading. Being healed up by the medevacs. With a couple of Cyclones going to go moving out the front. Stimpack on the way on either side. Rack still coming up from Bunny as well, as we do have again the Cyclones just making their way all the way through the 12 o'clock. So they come out around the top, and obviously Marine here for the Cyclones to come and jump on, so they're going to clean that up right away. Our third CC already lands on down, and just going to be seeing a couple of Vikings popping out. So Maru going to be able to rally those Vikings up together and yeah, just take air control at the moment is seemingly the plan. 2 Ravens, multiple Vikings. Everything is going as expected in the skies. Here comes Bunny with a little bit of a push. Remember, he did take an army supply earlier, so Maru has air control, but he doesn't have the ground army advantage at all. He's behind on that regard. Let's see, the thing for Maru here is that Bunny he doesn't know Bunny is here, so these Ravens are going to get spellcasts off for free. Oh, good unsiege from Maru. Beautiful unsiege. He will lose one tank still due to the Cyclone lock-on, but man, that doesn't get much better than that, does it? Realized immediately what was going on, knew he had to unsiege those tanks if he was going to save them, and just helps to minimize the damage taken from this situation. The Cyclone in the main base will deflect the medevac as well, as we do see everything joining together from Bunny. So but immediately Maru's just going to say, you know what, let's take this out down to the low ground, put my CC down over here, and just go from that kind of point. As tank shots going to clean up another unit or so. Here come Vikings in a tank, pushing their way up through the top side of the map. And this army of Maru is still just hovering around. This Viking count is going to see if it gets a chance to do anything. A little drop, it does get into the main base, so the SCVs will go down. I mean, SCVs are going to be brought in to fight this as the Vikings land as well. And Bunny's just getting a lot done. This game has been all about Bunny. His attacks have been dictating a lot of what's happening. Here's the problem for Maru, is that his Ravens haven't had a chance to do anything. You know, he's not been able to get the Ravens in a position to really spellcast at all, so he's not been able to take advantage of that just yet either. That definitely hurts, as now you're going to see the next drop of Bunny already lining up to hit this next base. Oh, that's a quadruple matrix though, so these tanks are all stuck, and that's going to be expensive. Bunny's going to lose every siege tank here. Well, now he's going to want to absolutely jump on this base and get some more damage done, because that was a lot of tanks he just lost out on. SCV's going to have to pull in to actually repair this orbital command with the Vikings here. Let's see, the medevac's going down, the tank gets killed, and the CC is saved, so good defense from Maru, really good defense. He even didn't repair the CC fully until it felt as though Bunny tried to commit onto it, and then Maru repaired the CC. Those SCVs pulling in, trying to repair a reactor. They will repair a reactor, so these Vikings are going to want to turn back onto SCVs, but they didn't. Wow. I mean, you know Maru is good at the game, obviously, but sometimes you see certain things happen and you're just like, okay, then, right, I get it. You know, this is why you are maybe on your way to your 5th GSL championship. And that was just a beautiful defense from cleaning the tanks on the top side, coming down the bottom, responding here, kept the CC alive, barely. And it almost felt like, I say, like, you know, Bunny almost believed he could kill it because Maru almost let it die, but then Maru had the full repair the instant he needed it. Well, credit to Bunny, he put himself in a great position in this game, and he's still ahead. He's still got the SCV count, he's still got the army lead, but Maru is fighting a good fight right now, making a reasonable case for being able to stay in this game. And you know what? The one thing that Maru really does have right now is the tank count, right? At least down in position over here. At the same time, there is tanks. Okay, that's why, because the tanks are sieging up over on this side of the map. And the Liberators, that would have been perfect on the defense, get killed by the Marines before they can shoot down the siege tanks. At the same time, Bunny's going to pull in over here. Maru just on siege. He's going to try and auto turret to get himself away, but he's being chased by too much. That will be the advantage to Bunny. That will be Bunny winning out in Terran versus Terran. Game number 1 again. I could have hosted a replay this quickly. As on the top right-hand side, taking the first map is our red Terran player, Bunny, up by 1 here in this qualifier. Bottom left, we are going to be seeing our blue Terran player, Maru. I like this line from chat. Maru is never behind, he is only less ahead. Bunny played a great game. You know, I'm singing Maru's praises about defending and stuff, but Bunny did not give up with the aggression. And, you know, the drop into the main base, when, you know, when everything's being defended, he's resilient, right? He's relentless, and he goes once again, he's like, right, one more time. Keep dropping, and as Maru tries to take an advantage of a one fight, boom. Your main base is under attack. You don't have anything there to properly defend it. And at the same time, you do okay across the map, but then Bunny's able to push out and bust you there as well. This time Maru's going to proxy 1 barracks onto the map. So 1 rack's at home, 1 rack's on the map. This is going to be a 2 racks Reaper opening. The real goal here is to try and make your opponent kind of, you know, especially if they scout. It's almost better if they scout here than if they don't, because if they scout, they're going to see 1 racks and they're going to be like, oh, okay, you just got a racks at home. And obviously, this build is never, it's not like this build's never been heard of. But it is one of the things that you can maybe be caught off guard by sometimes, and you don't quite realize exactly what's up and that kind of thing. Obviously, you know something's up. There's a double depot wall. Of course, you don't know that, you know, is he just playing like I am with this factory already? Or what is the situation? Now, of course, with the racks into the factory, you know, as Bunny here, you shouldn't really be in too much trouble, and he is going to go scouting for the proxy. Yeah, he's actually going to find this proxy. Nope. Nope. He's going to jump down the ledge. So he doesn't find the proxy, in fact, in the end. And now this Reaper is a little out of position, but pulling back towards home. As 2 Reapers together from Maru are going to come forward and see if he can win out a little bit of Reaper warfare action on the front lines. So an SCV in this natural is going to go down to begin with. And now, okay, good shots. The best part of this for Maru is the fact he got 2 shots onto the same Reaper. So he doesn't have the damage split like Bunny did. That's obviously a much better situation to be in. Both players are just going to disengage from this, though. Neither's going to commit. Maru's build is designed to get you into an expansion pretty quickly as well, so he's already expanding ahead of Bunny. So he doesn't need to do like a whole bunch of damage here or anything. This is kind of a build as well, which really benefits the most from being able to play on, you know, against a 1-gas expand. Good use of the high ground here from Maru. Really benefits from playing like a 1-gas expand or so. Really can sometimes then just get out of control. As it stands, I mean, you basically end up on a later factory and starport, earlier CC, but you've got the few Reapers to still kind of control the game. You know, you've got more of those Reapers than usual, so they're going to help you out initially. And you do, with the 2 racks, typically end up in a faster stim as well. Starport building in the main base. Just going to see the reactor coming through. Medevac and Cyclone continuing out as well. So getting all of that set up. As SCV is going to transfer down to the natural. The Reaper Hellion Force is going to make its way up into the... I'm just going to say around the natural, I guess, is... I don't know where... It wasn't making its way anyway, really. I just said the wrong thing, so let's just admit to it. Cyclone Marines are going to shoot down the barracks. They came across the scout. Maru not going to bother to fly that back home. So yeah, just going to get some information, see the unit setup, double check the base timing and so on. Yeah, I mean, you see a tech lab on the factory, you see 1 Cyclone. Tech lab starport. I think seeing stuff like no medevac though is quite important, right? Because, you know, that's the sort of thing that now you know you don't have to defend against that. You don't have to commit resources to defending something like that. Or even just the potential of having to defend against that. So, pretty reasonable as these Reapers will continue through. There is a single Reaper holding the watchtower here. A little bit of Reaper Hellion Cyclone is going to start making its way, this time actually across the map. So, Bunny taking map control. He's going to take the watchtower. So just not even being aggressive, just trying to pick up information. He holds both the watchtowers, so he actually sees a lot of the map with very few units. Does medevac do anything? Just a bait? Empty medevac flew across the map? I would imagine so, because otherwise... yeah. I hate to break it to you guys, but you can't drop nothing. I know medevacs are good, but they're not so good they come preloaded with Marines. That'd be crazy. Get an upgrade off the fusion core. Your medevac spawns with 8 Marines inside. Oh, yes. That seems fair. Well, army collects together out the front from Bunny. He is looking as though he might push. At the same time, these Reapers of Maru probably not going to have the best time over here, and it's not quite the fight they wanted to find themselves in. We'll turn for at least one Reaper kill, but I do dare say this is the end of the Reapers, so they weren't so hot. I mean, there's absolutely, if they'd been able to find their way across the map, they could have absolutely gotten in and gotten a bunch of SCVs, but obviously that's always the question mark, right? And it's never a given. This is one of those things you can maybe... Usually that's what you do with the Reapers. You kind of hang around and you look to get into the main base. And by jumping into the main base, that mineral line isn't always going to be protected. And then the Reaper's like, haha, you trade out a few SCVs, etc. I mean, neither player did this, because Bunny could have tried to do it too. With his own Reapers, you don't need a massive Reaper kind of do. You just need 2, really. 1 is a little slower doing it. 2's better. 3 is the best, then you're 2-shotting the workers. Raven's going to lead. The medevac's boosting down as well. Going to go into the main base. There we go. Tank's going to siege up. Marines are going to unload. The Viking's going to fire. Raven taking some shots. Stem being repaired up as well. There's a couple of matrices will go down. It's just going to be seeing these tanks hold a little bit as Maru wants to try and break out of this, obviously. Ooh. Okay. He's going to get this one tank up, but is he going to have enough to kill it? He does just. Wow. There's actually Raven energy left over from Bunny that he's not used yet. He's also attacking at the front. That's why we're going to put an auto turret down to try and help fight this off. The Viking going to land too. A few Marines now finally on the way down as well. So Maru comes out of this. He's lost 12 workers. He is getting a pretty big cleanup. Chasing down these couple of medevacs right now. He's actually going to get at least one more medevac kill. The Raven turned back around towards the main base, but the siege tank survives the auto turret. And Bunny shouldn't let that Raven get away. I mean, he knows where it is, so... Sorry, Maru shouldn't let that Raven get away. He should have the Vikings to chase it, and he does. And Raven is dead. Alright, so Maru cleans up. There's a new attack at the front from Bunny. Bunny needs to take a moment to look back home and macro. He's been very good at not kind of letting his macro slip while attacking earlier today or in the game so far, but now it is slipping a little bit. Maru is about to finish up Stim, and it's going to help him a lot in these trades as well, just being able to mobilize his forces much more easily. And on top of that, he's then going to be on 1-1, so Maru will have 1-1 against 0-0 to fight for a while. And that means any future trades in Marine vs. Marine, he really should just start to go the way of Maru in a pretty big way. So if Bunny wants to be successful here, it has to be based around, most likely, just siege tank positioning and finding Maru out of position and making Maru run around. Forcing Maru to split his army, try and force mistakes out of him. So I'd imagine, at least. Marines are going to make their way toward the bottom here. Medevac's coming over. Advanced, and it will start up on the front. When he put his 4th base in position, so a little brave of him, I would say. Especially looking at the current situation, I feel like if there's anyone that should put a 4th base in position, it's probably Maru, you know, that... Well, I would say bio advantage, but maybe not recognizing that he has the... or had the upgrade lead. Upgrade lead slipped away as Maru didn't start his 2-2 very quickly. And overall, the game does even out a little bit as, it's a lot of Marines though, and believe it or not, the tanks don't do much if they're not sieged. Also, no combat shields there just yet, making that a little tougher as well. Gonna move around the left side. Marine, tank, Viking, Raven coming in. It's making this push around. It's still Maru the one making a lot of the moves now. Obviously, Bunny very active initially. Maru defended. Now Bunny really is going to be in a bit of trouble. Got the siege off on the unsiege on one of these 2 siege tanks. Obviously, Maru is able to then siege up and take that first one down. He's now on top of this base. Breaking out of is going to be tough because Bunny put so much money into trying to... Because he put so much money into trying to win right here. Obviously, you can see the issue, right? Is just no Vikings, you know, or way less Vikings as well. The full energy Raven goes down though, and the Marines get forward. That was not pretty for Maru. His own Marines a little slow to show up. And Bunny made a good jump out there. Maru was not expecting it, and Bunny actually gets a lot of value just from making the play. And unexpected timing. Wow. That was rough. I was actually just, A, stumbling over my words, but B, I was actually surprised how many Vikings there were all of a sudden from Bunny. He's actually up at 8. He's not done a bad job playing catch-up on the air control. But he is still behind, and that was generally meant to be what helps Bunny, or help Maru keep that position. Obviously, in the end, Bunny actually is able to make a break for it. Getting the catch on the full energy Raven's great as well. You can obviously, lose potential order turrets that would help you to slow that down. There's a lot of things you could have done there that just aren't now available because of how it played out. Here come the Marines. They're going to go for a little stim across down the bottom left. Vikings going to start firing. Marines pushing in. Other Marines from the right side. Oh, what are they doing? They're not going to commit. Well, we've seen Bunny do this a lot today where he's... I'll give you a little behind. I mean, his army supply is actually pretty reasonable here, but he's had a worse couple moments perhaps, but then he gets into a position that you can just take full advantage of. He's been great at it, so let's see if he can take full advantage of this. As it's a little bit chaotic. Vikings, I think, still in Maru's favor. He's currently picking off medevacs. Are they in Maru's favor? They're not. That's a missed call for me. It's actually a Bunny air advantage. As he's actually going to be stuck behind his tanks here, so his Marines are actually going to have to cut off the rocks. He wants to save this CC because he would love to be able to obviously actually just keep that alive to actually be able to take a 5th base at some point, because Bunny does have his own 5th building. Now he's going to make a decision. What he wants to do, he's going to start sending units across the map here. So the decision is, I'm going to go and try and counterattack. But Bunny, man, what is it about Bunny and these attacks? Like, he just sort of says, you know what, let's go. He just pushes through the middle of the map here and is like, yep, cool, no problem for me. And he just wins games off of it. He just gets himself into positions and just, like I say, he just kind of wins. I was going to try and counterattack in, but he's in some trouble across the map. Can he somehow find a way to hold onto this? Marines are still pushing through. That factory's going to go down. I mean, Maru is, can he stabilize? I guess is the question we will ask ourselves. 3-3 coming up on either side, plus 2 vehicle weapons is going to be finishing from Maru as well. He's got vehicle play and upgrades. I don't know if we're really going to make the difference. Units, he does have a good decent Viking count, and he does zone that drop away. And he's going to catch these tanks, move commanding to the left. I mean, that's the kind of thing you need as Maru at the moment to help you get back into this a little bit. Oh, that's an amazing moment just there. 4 siege tanks for free. 4 Ravens. Talking about 4s. 4 Ravens are up from Bunny, so he has a lot of that control we've been talking about all this time. A lot of that control we've been discussing. Marine tank Viking into the center is going to come through, knock down this set of rocks, open this up, and find a chance to continue moving over to the left. Well, 3-3 right now against 2-2, so it's a little rough if Bunny is able to force a marine fight, and he has the anti-armor missile down. Maru has no choice but to give up this base. He's going to have to play around the bottom side of the map now, Maru, if he wants to continue. This CC probably has to go down here. He does save this orbital. I mean, obviously, he can also... I mean, this is the moment where, obviously, if you could get across the map and punish Bunny for being so far out on the left, that'd be amazing. But that ain't easily done. What he does have is the Liberators to force on sieges and try and find something out of this. It's a bit of an odd spot because you've also got to have the tanks there to protect the Liberators. Otherwise, this happens. The Marines sim forward and they will just make a snipe. And every time you're making Liberators instead of... you know, Vikings, you're losing more air control. You're giving your opponent the chance to catch up in air control, and then you can't get away with having Liberators. Maru does go for the big push forward. He's actually going to go through. A lot of these tanks were in the medevacs for a long time there, so they did not drop until very late. And Maru is going to get a major pushback. He is going to chase these medevacs away. Another siege tank is going to go down. It is going to fall. Wow. Hey guys, we are back into... Okay, so the immediate current, you know, the immediate concern, you know, the immediate situation. Maru has a bit of a lead, but in the long term, look at all these command centers from Bunny. Bunny has the production, the setup, even the Raven count, right, to really play the longer game in his favor. And I think that is going to be a huge deal here because, yes, right now, immediately, Maru has the numbers, but the numbers don't matter all of the time. In this case, I definitely don't think they do. Well, Maru's able to get maxed out. Obviously, anytime Maru gets maxed out again, you got to give a little bit of respect. This is the thing. It's like, I was talking about this with Cyril yesterday. It's like that idea of, like, when you cast someone like this, it's like, can they ever lose? And, you know, despite everything that happens to Maru in this game, I'm still like, but it's Maru, right? Like, he's got a plan. He's gonna find a way. Just because it's Maru. And that's maybe, just in case my casting sounds a bit biased or sounds like I hate Bunny. I feel it's like the immortality effect. Players like these, they just have something about them that just, it is difficult to beat them, and, you know, that definitely comes through in the casting sometimes as well. It feels like they shouldn't really ever lose as well. We're going to have a fight breaking out. I mean, let's take a look at the unit counts again, because I think what's interesting is the Viking count. And now Maru has his own Raven count as well. I think that's very scary. If you're going to try and take Maru on in a game where he's got Ravens to work with as well. And with 18 Vikings in play, it's a massive air control advantage to Maru. Absolutely no doubt about it. So he has a huge, huge air advantage here. Medevac is going to come up the top side. Planetary Fortress is going to do a decent bit of damage, picking off a few of those Marines. Bottom left, these couple of Marines in some trouble as well. Viking is going to get a pick off on the Medevac. A double cancel on command center. That's pretty nice. I mean, Maru's trying to get to the position Bunny's in, where he's got extra orbitals, extra scans. There's definitely resources that Maru just does not have the option to go into. So that's a nice pick. 4 Vikings. And this Liberator as well, huh? Well, is it? Is it? Liberator survives. Yeah, Maru doesn't have quite as many scans and so on available. And it's definitely what he's trying to set up into, especially right now when he knows he's got the chance to do that. He's going to kind of cancel top left, which is a good find, good denial. Uh-oh, Bunny's making another major play out down the bottom, straight through the center of the map. Auto turrets coming down on mass as the Ravens get into the action. Obviously, the Vikings of Maru are doing a decent job of kind of holding this back a little bit. Yeah, I mean, there's not really much anti-air left here for Bunny, and Maru's going to start realizing that. There's like 2 Marines left over, in fact. So these Vikings are going to start doing very well as 11 SCVs, 14 SCVs going down. Liberator is having the time of its life across the map. I'm kind of surprised that Maru didn't chase the Vikings a little bit more there to try and go for those Ravens. I feel like that was a big opportunity that he had sitting for him. Oh, now we're going to see the massive matrixes, and Maru is going to collapse in on this army. The auto turrets from Bunny to try and save the day, but the Vikings are shooting the Ravens down during this. Can the tanks come out of the matrixes and somehow get some shots off to change this, guys? Answer, not in time. Bunny's army gets cleared and fully wiped out. And what a TvT between these two, as Maru is looking as though he's going to get back from, honestly, what was the brink of defeat in this game. He keeps himself alive, he keeps himself going. And right now, he is just going to be able to keep on pushing through. He got to the better army in the end with the air control, the Raven count of his own. Able to make the most of it. Now Maru did get these CCs up as well, and look what he's doing, just immediately taking the entirety of the map. And, you know, he's just slowly crept on that left side as well, got this base over here from the main. Just little things that Maru's just slowly done, and all of a sudden it feels like, was he ever kind of pinned back on just the 4 bases, having all his command centers cancelled? Well, it doesn't feel like it, does it? Absolutely doesn't feel like that. But he is going to get a few moments to rebuild, so maybe one more attempt with an army here, perhaps? I'd say is what we're looking at. These TvTs have been lengthy today. Last couple Korean qualifiers have been pretty quick, but today's Korean qualifier is like, you know, we ain't stopping. We just go, go, go. Don't hold up for us. Absolutely non-stoppers. Couple CCs continuing in. We are going to be seeing these couple medevacs are going to make their way down here. Going to go for some of these SCVs. Pantry Forest was not quite finished. It's going to finish up at the very end. Obviously, the way you dropped in here, this does become a nice little split. Good little... I mean, that was attempted target find the SCVs, and Maru just hops them into the planetary and out the other side, and it allows him to keep the repair going. Don't tell me he's going to save this planetary because of the SCV move. Oh my god. That was actually sick. So, because the SCVs are being target fires, he puts them into the command center, or the planetary, drops them out the other side, and gets to repairing again, and Bunny doesn't realize it, so because it's being repaired again, it stays alive, when otherwise he had already target fired the SCVs to die. It's just a cute little something as Maru continues to win this game. Ravens are dropping down the auto turrets, and with the Vikings here, Ravens are just going to refresh a couple of matrices. Maru has plenty to win this game out, as yet another attack of Bunny is going to be deflected. It feels like now, you know, these attacks of Bunny have become less and less effective over time, that's for sure. You know, they started off being like, oh my goodness, Bunny's about to win the game, to this one just got patted away. It has no strength in it anymore, right? Maru's just dealing with it very handily as 24 minutes. 2000 Atmospheres turns out to be a pretty good TvT map based on today's games. Maru just scanning, trying to figure out where the bases are, which one he wants to hit next, perhaps. And he could just go deny this base. That would be the easiest choice. Going for this base is a little bit more, I want to just end the game sort of mode. Oh, I've had enough. Actually losing SCVs though, I mean this is just an orbital over here, to be fair. An orbital is meant to protect your SCVs, so that's expected. Unfortunately, Bunny couldn't have found that sooner, where it may have had more of an impact on the game. Because as it stands right now, losing, you know, killing 15 SCVs while you lose 28 probably ain't gonna do very much for you. Alright, Marine tank still just pushing on forward. Is going to go chasing through. Anti-armor missile going to strike. I mean, again, Bunny is trying anything he can to chase down Maru's army, but he is 60 army supply down. He is going to need to... What he needs is to fight half of Maru's army, then half of Maru's army again, and just crush both times, but there's just not really a way in which that should happen, especially because Maru knows where Bunny is. Maru has the Vikings to aid him, and yeah, again, once more, Bunny's been pushed back, zoned out. GG. Maru is going to tie the series up 1-1 in our best of 3. Alright, well, this TvT is delivering. You know, I was a bit skeptical about picking the TvT section of the bracket for today. I mean, obviously we're going to have Bjorn and Maru in it, but geez, it's freaking delivering, isn't it? These games. That's on the top right-hand side. You have our red Terran player, Bunny, taking on the bottom left, blue Terran player, Maru. Okay, so Oxide as we settled down a little bit after all of that. It was kind of a wild ride, that game. 2,000 atmospheres long, back and forth. Absolutely had no clue who was winning all the way throughout, to be honest with you. Absolute madness, I tell you, madness. A lot of fun, though. A lot of fun. And I see a lot of people asking, what is this qualifier? Why is it so stacked? This is a qualifier to the $23,000 Next Esports Tournament. NetEase Esports X Tournament is what it's called. So Next. I know when I say Next, it's like the abbreviation, and people are like, well, what tournament? What's next? And I'm like, yeah, there is the next tournament. They're like, I don't know what the next tournament is, though, Wardy. Someone actually sent me a very angry message on Twitch DMs. I think it was yesterday, and they were like, I don't understand why you can't ever tell us what the tournament is. Stop just saying it's the next one. And then they followed it up with some real abuse about my casting as well. So it was really, this is genuinely the IQ of some people out there watching. But yeah, it's called the NetEase Esports X Tournaments. This is a Chinese event that's been around for a while. I mean, they run a lot of stuff in China. And the last couple of years, they actually started doing some more team leagues of their own. Not the Chinese team leagues, but did like events with the teams because there were a lot more Chinese teams around. And last year, we actually got permission to start casting their events after we've been trying for like 2 years to try and cast these tournaments. So last year, we finally got permission. I woke up at midday. I got a message at 5:48 a.m. or something that said, hey, you can cast the tournament. It started at 6 a.m. I'd missed it. And it was too late. But then at the end of last year, they had the next winter event, which we cast, and it was a lot of fun. And this year, this event's actually partnered with the ESL Pro Tour, so it's part of the Pro Tour circuit. It does give out ESL points. And that means it's going to be an additional tournament that's going to happen between the DreamHack, or just after DreamHack Summer. So the qualifiers are this week mostly, and then next week a little bit. And then the DreamHack, DreamHack happens, and then we come and actually have this event once DreamHack is wrapped up before the DreamHack season finals. So it's going to be fun. And that's why it's a big thing, because obviously ESL points, that's why all the players are playing. The qualifier format is only one person qualifies each qualifier, and there's a ton of qualifiers, which the players might not like, but I think as a viewer, it doesn't get much better, because you get to see all of the best players fight until the very end. You don't miss any matches, because every single game has to be played, because only one guy qualifies. I think it's fantastic. This fight is going to start off, and it's not going to go fantastic for either player per se. As we're going to re-engage in, I think Bunny just has a little more here. Obviously, He left his base a little later, so it makes sense for him to have just a slight bit more in this initial engagement. Now we're going to lift it up and go home. Now, has to be careful, Bunny, because this Cyclone is around, and it can obviously make a difference as well. That Hellion just about slips away. Marines come forward, a couple grenades going down. Continue to press on through, and we do see this medevac able to load up a few units, and is able to slip those out back towards the top of the map. So away we go with those. Tank is going to drop down, and Marines as well. Marine, Cyclone, and the tank just going to move up to the top as the Marines of Bunny load up and go to the right side as well. A couple of tanks joining up here, Marines and a Raven joining as well. All of this coming through as Maru comes over to the right-hand side. It's going to go and deny this third CC build. I mean, this is massive. Bunny trying to build his third in location. Huge cancel. Maru's doing the exact same, but Bunny's not in position to actually get the cancel off just yet. We'll see if this develops into something that might happen. As do you have our medevac going to fly straight into the back of this natural expansion, so SCVs will start to drop. A couple of them already going down. Raven drops an order turret, but the thing is, Maru, yeah, you're losing a few SCVs, but again, the damage you just dealt, cancelling the third CC, putting just the right thing here, targeting more SCVs, take as much of an eco lead as you can, make up for your later third base. And that makes a lot of sense, as Maru is going to finally deflect this. His third is finished. And that, my friends, is going to be... It's an interesting little scenario, right? Because that's actually a sizable amount of damage that Bunny got done here. Like, 8 workers is nothing to laugh about. Does it make up for losing your third that was building? Probably not. But you got to remember, it wasn't like you losing your third. It was losing a building third. So it cancels. So you A, get the money back for it. It rebuilds right away. It just gets delayed by like 45 seconds or so. So overall, it probably ain't that bad. Or as bad as I was initially making out for Bunny. This damage will definitely help him to stabilize somewhat after all of that is said and done. Marines, tanks just going to be coming in, picking off a Marine. Just going to be seeing Maru still collecting his units together just out the front right now. Another tank gonna see Jub. Again, Bunny coming around. So, I think the really important thing to look at here is just the things that Maru is getting done already. 1-1 on the way up. Combat shields. Stim already coming through. He's behind on Stim, but he's going to be way ahead on 1-1, which he was in the last game as well. But he let that advantage slip. He didn't start his 2-2 on time. The other big thing is his racks are already on reactors. Okay, so are Bunnies. Bunny's actually got the 4th and 5th racks building, so that's actually pretty reasonable. In fact, that's very good for you to have the 4th and 5th racks already building up here, as the Viking count is in favor of Bunny. Maru will do what he can, locking on with a Cyclone and try and get an additional kill. Scans are decent to help him take this fight, and he will clean up a few more tanks at the end. That control is still in Bunny's favor, though. And Maru is going to have to find a way to do something about that. Nice scan as the tank tries to get sieged. It's the kill for Maru. I mean, he knows he has to spend the scan there. He needs to know what's up. He's going to stim forward. He believes he has enough to fight this. He used the SCV to get in position. And these Vikings are going to start landing. What? Okay. Well, that wasn't it. That wasn't it at all. The Cyclone even flanking at the end. He gives up 8 SCVs, Maru, but he gets a pretty reasonable army wipe where he doesn't really lose that much of his own. And that is obviously the main point of power in the move that he just made. So 8 workers go down. Maru is already still on a pretty reasonable count, 65 to 68, so I don't think he's all too upset about the workers. Obviously, he doesn't know exactly the worker count of his opponent, but you have a general idea, right? He sees he still has pretty much 3-base saturation. And I think as long as you have 3-base saturation in this moment, you're like, okay, well, this is kind of fine. Again, late on the armory, though. 2-2 upgrades are not going to start, so he loses out on his advantage of 1-1. Well, he doesn't lose out on his advantage of 1-1, but he'll lose out on continuing that advantage into the 2-2. And again, that just doesn't need to necessarily happen. Bunny has been a little bit better with that armory timing. It's just that's the second time now that Maru is going to have the same issue where he gets very ahead on upgrades, and that armory ain't ready to continue them. He doesn't have a lot of gas. I wonder if there's something to do with the fact that because his 1-1 is so early, it's almost difficult to afford the 2-2 right when 1-1 is done. So I wonder if that comes into play to some kind of extent. He's going to kill this armory, which is fantastic. You know, if your armory is late and you can't start 2-2, how about you just kill your opponent's armory, and then his armory is late as well? These medevacs are trapped, but actually the delay on 2-2 is going to make it worthwhile because... Well, I say that. It's going to make it worthwhile if Maru actually takes a 2-2 lead. He still didn't start his upgrades. Obviously, by killing the army, he denied that +1 vehicle weapons that was built in as well. So, just a big upgrade denial in general. Maybe it wasn't worth the full 2 medevacs, though. That's obviously, you know, going to remain to be somewhat questionable there. Once that's coming up, Vikings tanks continue to produce. Additional starports are on the way. See Chang setting up once again. Our Marines are trying to press forward. But just holding the map control of these Marines. I mean, there's a couple of units from Maru as well, keeping an eye on things. He's building a 4th base up in location on the left-hand side, but he's not going to be quite as brave as that with the 4th base, at least. It's going to float that one over. Oh, he actually has a 4th base here already. As does Maru. It's the 5th base they're building in location / at the front. My apologies, didn't realize these guys are just going to double expand up to 5 bases, basically. I mean, I guess it is TvT, and sometimes you just do that, don't you? Well, this could be another long one, the way that it's settling down. You know, extra starports on the way up already from Maru, 2 Ravens already producing from Bunny. It feels like we are heading into a very similar situation as what we just got to see on 2000 Atmospheres. This map shouldn't really give us the same type of game in the sense of just how long it went and how easy it is to move around your opponents and those counterattacks and stuff, but, you know, and just the size of the map is obviously an impact on that as well. But it can definitely start to look the same, that is for sure. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I just read COVID reactor as COVID reactor, and I was like, what? Bunny's literally building COVID? Turns out, no, it is COVID reactor. I just moused over it. I don't even know why I moused over it. I just, for some reason, I think, obviously my brain was just like, COVID? COVID reactor, Raven starting energy is the upgrade, and it obviously is going to aid the... increases the starting energy of Ravens by 25, to be exact. And increases the start. Honestly, I feel like this upgrade, like, yeah, okay, cool, but it also feels like such a non-upgrade at the same time. I always felt this about the Raven. It's not like the Ravens are, like, spawning with, like, super low energy. Does 25 make that much of a difference as the Raven spawns? Like, obviously it's nice, and if you're going to build a bunch of Ravens, you may as well get it, because it might make the difference of having a spellcast available or not, but obviously it's just not that influential in the sense that it will take a long time for this to ever really... You need to be playing late game for it to matter. It basically means that when the Raven spawns, you instantly have an anti-armor missile or an interference matrix you can cast. Which is pretty nice in clutch scenarios. Like I say, I mean, you're not going to complain about 25 energy, it's just... It's funny when you think about, like, you know, how often we see this, and it's like, it just gives you 25 extra energy at the start. Like, that is it. Here comes a Marine tank force now. Vikings of Maru out on the bottom side. Join up together. I mean, how many Ravens we got? 5 against 2, so it's definitely a Raven advantage, but Viking lead to Maru. So if Maru can make an advantage with these Vikings and actually get some good trades out, he can maybe just deny the Ravens. Obviously, if the Ravens can't actually get into play, then having the Raven advantage doesn't mean anything. So yeah, these Vikings right now for Maru looking to be a pretty big aid. Alright, we'll send Marines off to the upper left-hand side. A couple of tanks are going to unsiege, and looks like Maru's attack is going to be seen. Nice scan. CC was on the way up over here as well. It's going to stop flying away. If Maru sees it, I mean, can he stim for that? He's going to stim a smaller group of Marines after it. Is that enough? SCV's going to repair. Okay, well. Doesn't actually get the kill on that, as we are going to see Bunny full swing around the left side again. This is where the Ravens were going to become useful, as, oh, Maru doesn't get a single Raven cast off. Uh-oh. Yeah, not a single spell cast off of his own Ravens there initially. He had a couple. What could he have done? I mean, even if you just slow down a couple of the tanks initially, right, it's less damage output from Bunny off the very start of it. I kind of thought he was going to put his matrixes down there as well, but he didn't do it initially. He will put it now, and Bunny was already unsieging to back away. Let's have a look at the unit count out the back of that. I mean, it still feels like Maru just has this Raven advantage. Sorry, not Raven, but Viking advantage. That feels huge, right? Having like 20 Vikings to 9? I just don't understand. I mean, again, this is how you do it or make it work from Bunny. You have to make, you know, run around and try and hit different places. You have to keep those Ravens mobile, but it's really difficult, it feels like, to actually get utility off your units when your opponent has that kind of Viking count. It means any fight you do is going to be a bit more of a backstab than a straight-up frontal attack, and that's not always where you want it to be. Both players will go +2 ship weapons. Maru's actually about to have +2 vehicle plating, which is pretty nice. Obviously will help his Vikings as well continue to take good fights. Well, it's the tanks as well a little bit, obviously, but a lot of the time I think this one really is just about the sky upgrades and the sky army. Both players are going to be attempting to take the corner bases. That will be the last base that each of them will take on this map, as we are currently set up to play into the very late stages of this game, where every single base might end up being mined out. As the Marines all collecting together, the rest of this army out the front from Bunny. I mean, we're both maxed out. We're ready to go. We're ready to fight. Problem is, right now, I feel like being the aggressor doesn't benefit anybody. So if I can add 6 more on the way for Bunny, so he'll be 17 to 22. 12 to 10 Ravens. Tank count is similar. That's hilarious. They both start a fusion core at the exact same time. I wonder what it is about this exact moment of the game that they take their final base. They're like, right, that means we're going fusion cores, boys. This is it. Now is the time we make the BC switch. Is it PCs, or are we just looking at range for libs? Range for libs could be the choice, but that doesn't matter because I don't know. I mean, neither of them are really making libs anyway. It might be one of those things where you just get it just in case, you know. I think with 2 more starports started, it feels like Maru's ready to start making battle cruisers. Marine tank Raven has made its way all the way down over here. Fjord turret's going down to push these Marines back. Anti-armor missile coming through. A bunch of interference matrix is going down. This fight's going to start up. Anti-armor missile is going to go down on both sets of Vikings. We're actually going to see Maru not just lost 1 base, but he's now going to have Marines dropping into his main. He's going to start sniping down some full energy Ravens. He's doing a really good job of, in particular, I think, keeping his Ravens behind his Vikings. So he always has the Vikings taking the shots. His Ravens are always well protected. As he's going to clean up pretty much everything that was there. Obviously, the Viking Raven army does get away over here, and it's currently auto turret and try and get back in. But remember that Maru just has more stuff in the Viking Raven war. Is that still true? 18 to 13 Vikings? Yeah. BC's now on the way from Bunny, so he will make the switch to BCs as Maru just rebuilds Vikings. And I actually just think Maru, if he goes BC, is going to be in a better place. The fact that he's got better upgrades, okay, it's actually even. Well, he's going to still have +3 vehicle plating for a while. Okay. Maru lost this base. It gets replaced, and we go again. Bunny with a little bit more of a bang coming out of this. Resources lost a little bit in Bunny's favor. Couple advantages here and there right now. I'm going to take a moment to settle down. And you have the weaponry for the mono cannon on the way up. Want to buy a unit tab, please? Unit tab? Or unit loss tab? I mean, I'm on a 2-minute delay, so I can't just immediately bring stuff up, but there's a unit loss tab as well. Kind of fun to look at. Not too crazy, really. Yeah, I'm just trying to check in on the unit tab when it makes sense to. And the armor missile is going to go off, but he's going to get that strike. He's again being the aggressor. Maru happy to be a little bit more defensive here, sitting back a little more. A few Ravens going to drop some matrices and going to cover a few tanks to begin with. I mean, both these armies are starting to be painted orange as well. As Maru is the one that's making the push forward. There's none of these tanks sieged anymore. Anti-armor missile going to connect on Marines this time, and Maru's just going to chase in with the Marines, and he's going to go, and, I mean, I guess you auto turret to try and protect us a little bit, try and slow us down. The Marines blocked the auto turret placement. Bottom right, BCs show up, and now Maru has to respect that and go and play for it. And now, in bringing his Vikings back over here, Bunny's going to take the chance to move on forward. And he's going to keep on going in over here again, so, I mean... Again, those BCs are annoying because now they just teleport out of there as well, so they get out. Oh my god, the Matrix was too late. So they just get out without dying, and again, Bunny's going to open up a chance to deny this base of Maru. A lot of SCVs going down for Maru right now. That does mean he'll have a larger standing army supply, as he's going to come into this fight, and I don't like this at all for Bunny. He's going to lose big time in the Viking War. These Marines, though, coming through, are they going to be shut down at all? The auto turrets are trying to do something against them. Bunny has a ton of minerals, but he doesn't have that much gas. Resources lost is evening up a little bit more to what it was before, and again, right now, in the immediate future, Maru has the numbers to push forward here, chasing down Marine and the tank. Another anti-armor missile comes through. And guess who's back in the bottom right? Yes, it's the BCs. They're going to come in again. Turns out missile turrets are pretty ineffective against battle cruisers. Yeah, they don't do much, do they? Look at the Vikings. This time you do get a Matrix off, so you will kill a BC. As once again, Bunny's going to make the exact same play. Use that pull to the bottom right to make his move over to the left and to siege up that base. This base will get sieged. Yeah, CVs have gone down. And as our Marines are going to stem on forward and just going in for this. And they're going to actually catch a bunch of these tanks. And again, that seems to be the power of Maru. He just seems to have that much more interference matrices, and he's just going to push through the center. These Marines be stopped. Anti-armor missiles say yes, they should be. I mean, Maru now has his own BC showing up to fight against it. As Marines continue to push through this orbital command. Orbital command is going to go down. So orbital falls, I mean, we're talking about a very superficial base right there. That's very much so just a scan machine or a Mueller machine. It's an energy farm. Double PC, back to the bottom right. Here we go again. This time, Maru is a little bit more aware of this happening. Instant teleport away. Yeah, okay. But again, it still brings the Vikings a bit out of position, gives Bunny a chance to move on forward. Remember that Bunny, while having the larger bank right now, it's because he has more SCVs, and having more SCVs, he has less standing actual units on the map at any point in time for fighting. So while Maru's bank isn't as large, he's also mining out slower, which means that if you're mining out slower, your bases last longer, you're not going to have to run out of money as quickly, you don't have to rely on the bank as early. The only scary part for Maru is obviously any SCVs he loses is going to be a pretty big cut to his economy and his income. So there is a risk, but of course there's the reward as well, that having more army supply should make it so that you should be in position and have the units to not lose out on too many SCVs. But I feel like he's been out-positioned here. Good movement from Bunny's army is going to find itself down on the bottom right-hand side, and Maru might genuinely lose a base now. Okay, the only issue, so the biggest problem here is going to be the fact it's very difficult to push in or to escape from this position as Bunny. Like, where do you go? Do you run up the right-hand side of the map? Well, if you do that, you're not going to have a good time. Marines are still trying to push on in here. Tanks on either side, Matrix and all sorts. The Vikings are going to win out for Maru. Tanks and Marines win out for Bunny. And both players have their moments in this battle, as Bunny will kill the bottom right base. Maru has his own BC, which is off just killing SCVs in the upper left. Teleports out of there, Yamatos. See you later. Yeah, teleports out, doesn't get hit by the Yamatos at all. And now the BC shows up bottom right, cleans up these last few Marines, and these tanks are in trouble. They're going to turn to try and fight. The Vikings say, no, you don't leave this way. And Maru is going to trap those units in, and they will fall as well. Well, this TvT really had everything, more or less. This has been a thriller. What an amazing series between Maru and Bunny. I mean, TvT at the moment is apparently just top-notch. I know this maybe wasn't the flashiest kind of like crazy back and forth again and again fights, but it took a little while to get set up, but geez, it was... I still feel like it's been a lot of fun. It's not been boring, that's for sure. We've seen TvTs that get to 20 minutes and we haven't seen a fight. This was anything but that. Talking as though it's over. It's not over yet. Maru 39 SCVs, only 39 SCVs at the moment. This is again dangerous, but if he gets to mine out, then it's not so bad. There's a gas limit on the map now. I didn't realize, but Maru's onto his last couple thousand gas that's mining. As is Bunny, to be fair. It's not like Bunny has a... Actually, Bunny has even less gas available to him. So we are about to get to the point of mining out this map. Bunny is realizing this as well, hence the SCVs pulling in here. Just giving those up so he can free up supply to make more units. Okay, so this gets kind of tense, because the next fight or two is basically going to come down to a... The next fight or two is basically going to be what it comes down to. Like, this is it. Like, the next fight will somewhat determine how this game ends. Anti-armor missiles setting up. Man, so what's the unit count at? 3 BCs to 2, 4 to 6 Ravens, leading with Maru's numbers. Maru has almost half the Marine count, but he has complete air control with the Viking count. So what Maru doesn't really want is Maru doesn't really want a straight-up fight, right? Because a straight-up fight here for Maru looks like Marines just overwhelming him, I think. What Maru wants is to slowly pick away that air control and then just hold positions with tanks and BCs, etc. that Bunny just can't really take or do anything about because he doesn't have the air control. I think that's the process right now for Maru. He definitely has to be the slower player in this. Again, there will be a little bit more cash behind this next fight, but maybe not enough for a full remax, depending on how heavily they trade out. And again, there's not much cash to be mined behind that as well. Bunny is going to get up this ramp, and that's going to be a few tanks of Maru going down. The matrixes on those BCs are big. And there's now Maru. He had all of his Marines in the bottom right-hand side, and now he doesn't have any siege tanks. Am I crazy in saying that? I don't think so. I think he's completely siege tankless. He does get an anti-armor missile down, though. That obviously is going to help against no anti-armor missile of his opponent. I mean, the Vikings are just struggling to get into the fight. The BCs are struggling to get on top of tanks to actually make a difference. Yamato comes down. See, Maru's dancing back. He knows he's in a bit of trouble. His Marines are kind of stuck in this corner. Now they're derping forward. He's going to make a lift, and he's actually going to evacuate a few units. So Maru's going to lose the bottom right base. That's where a lot of his remaining gas was. And Bunny is taking a pretty serious supply lead here. And as I said, some of the final fights of this game, perhaps. Bunny might have just about done it. Maru just, I mean, losing those tanks from Maru gave Bunny the position to start working for it. I mean, these Vikings again, some free pickoffs, mind you. And that's still the crazy part of this. These BCs are going to be a big part of it in the end as well. Yamato's a tank and I don't know what else. And a BC gets Yamato. He's actually going to kill a BC. That's really big because I actually think this could come down to battle cruisers at the end of the day. These BCs are one of the things that Maru will have sitting up in the skies that looks great. Again, the denial of this bottom right base, though, is so huge. When resource loss is just slightly in Maru's favor, he still needs to mine from this base to make sure that that resource is lost count. And that's the thing, if Bunny ever loses this bottom right position and Maru can mine from it, I think Maru probably does just have the win in the bag. But as long as you can't mine from there, that's a problem. I love these Yamatos just going in after tank, one at a time. You can see the Vikings and Ravens trying to get the flank in. Good movement out of Maru, realizing the attempt of Bunny to try and flank in and interference matrix the tanks down. He knows that's the last thing he wants to have happen here. As if only a couple Marines move forward, that's where the BCs don't really care. Long distance mining from Bunny, trying to take resources away from Maru's side of the map. Oh my god, this game is extremely tense, guys. Oh, he's going to find a Raven for free. Any pick-off right now is huge. 4 BCs to 1, 3 Ravens each. 104 Marines to the 50, and it's the 21 Vikings against the 5. Another Yamato coming in. Here we go. We're going to make the move. As the... I don't even know what happened. I think a couple of interference matrices went down. There's an anti-armor missile as well, but the tanks are still sieged up from Maru. The BCs and the Vikings are putting the work in, and Bunny's army's melding all over the place. He's going to try and hold the position, but he just can't, and these BCs are shredding through Marines in the bottom right corner. Anti-armor missile means that they are just taking way too much damage. They do nothing to the battle cruisers, and the BCs of Maru are going to pull through, and he is going to win this fight. Maru retakes the bottom right base, and that is gonna be it. There is no rebuild potential from Bunny. He's mined out on Oxide. He has a few minerals left, and he has BCs that he has no anti-air to deal with. That was not the fight. He did not get enough done with the Ravens leading into that, and this is gonna be it. Bunny doesn't have anything he can do any longer. He is gonna try with a few Marines. I don't even know if those Marines are gonna be able to kill these BCs. Maru's gonna respect it. Teleports back. Basically a little blink on the BC there, as Marines are pushing up, and I mean, Maru still doesn't want to be too reckless, right? I mean, this is still a low eco game. You don't want to just go losing units for no reason. This is going to be it, though. Maru is going to push through. He is going to win this out at the very end. Bunny will stand until he has nothing left. GG's, and Maru is going to take this series 2-1. The TvT is so good today. It is so good today. GG.